hair or something? Oh.
The Department of Agriculture presents Hemp For Victory! Well, it's very quick.
Long ago, when these ancient Grecian temples were new, hemp was already old in the service of mankind.
High as kites.
For thousands of years even then, this plant had been grown for cordage and coarse cloth in China and elsewhere in the East. For centuries prior to about 1850, all the ships that sailed the western seas were rigged with hempen rope and sails. For the sailor, no less than the hangman, hemp was indispensable.
Why'd they go right to the hangman?
A 44-gun frigate, like our cherished old Ironsides, took over 60 tons of hemp for rigging. Including an anchor cable 25 inches in circumference.
Ooh, wow.
The Conestoga wagons and prairie schooners of pioneer days were covered with hempen canvas. Indeed, the very word canvas comes from the Arabic word for hemp. In those days, hemp was an important crop in Kentucky and Missouri. Then came cheaper imported fibers for cordage, like jute, sisal, and manila hemp, and the culture of hemp in America declined. But now, with Philippine and East Indian sources of hemp in the hands of the Japanese, and shipment of jute from India curtailed, American hemp must meet the needs of our Army and Navy, as well as of our industries.
I see. We got rid of the
In
hemp because,
1942, patriotic farmers at the government's request
I'm pretty sure that globe is rotating the
hemp,
wrong
an
way.
increase of several thousand
Don't think about it
percent.
too much.
The goal for
traveling back
1943
in
is
time.
50,000 acres of seed hemp.
I don't know.
In Kentucky, much of the seed hemp acreage
I
is
might
on
have
river bottom
smoked
land
too
such as
much
this, along the Kentucky River Gorge. Some of these fields
No,
are
I don't.
inaccessible
I
except
never
by
have,
boat.
never
Smoke
Thus,
the hemp.
plans are afoot for a great
Not a good
expansion of the hemp industry as a part of the war program. This film is designed to tell farmers how to handle this ancient crop, now little known outside Kentucky and Wisconsin.
Oh,
This
Wisconsin.
is hemp seed. Be careful how you use it.
Could explode.
For to grow hemp legally, you must have a federal
Producer of
registration and
marijuana.
provided for in your contract. Ask your AAA committee man or your county agent about it. Don't forget, hemp demands a rich, well-drained soil such as is found here in the bluegrass
In other words,
region
plenty of
Kentucky
poop.
or in central Wisconsin.
Ew, don't do that.
No, don't.
Poor
That's
soils
gross.
Soil that will grow good corn will usually grow hemp. Hemp is not hard on the soil. In Kentucky, it has been grown for several years on the same ground, though this practice is not recommended. A dense and shady
Oh,
crop,
that must smell so
hemp tends
gross.
to choke out weeds. Here's a Canada thistle that couldn't stand the competition.
Children of the hemp.
Dead as a dodo. Thus, hemp leaves
whole
the ground in
different movie.
good condition for the following crop. For fiber, hemp should be sown 5 pecks to the acre.
Hex.
With drill, the closer the rows, the better. These rows are spaced about 4 inches. This hemp has been broadcast. Either way, it should be sown thick enough to grow a slender stalk.
Yes.
Here's an ideal
Delivered
standard.
electronically to your
The right
home.
height to be harvested easily, thick enough to grow slender stalks that are easy to cut and process.
Seems way overdressed for this.
Like these here on the left. They yield the most
Very
fiber
serious
and the
business.
best. Those on the right are too coarse and woody. For seed, hemp is planted in hills like corn, sometimes by hand. Hemp is a dioecious plant. The female flower is inconspicuous, but the male flower is easily
Yeah,
spotted.
the males are whores.
In
Just
seed
Just
production,
hangs
after
out.
pollen has been
Yep.
shed, these
Here
male
I
plants
am.
are cut out. These are the seeds on a female plant.
Stop doing that, you perv.
Hemp for fiber is ready to harvest when the pollen is shedding and the leaves are falling.
There's no reason he's
Kentucky
doing
hemp
this. He's
harvest
just,
comes in August.
It's fun.
Here, the old standby has been the self-rake reaper.
don't fear the
which
reap.
has been used for a generation.
actually-
I'm gonna fear that. Yeah,
Hemp
that's,
Yeah.
is so luxuriant
Yeah,
in
that
Kentucky
looks pretty
that harvesting
scary.
is sometimes difficult.
that dog
This may
is
account for the popularity
staying
of the
20 feet
self-rake
away.
with its lateral
Wait a
stroke.
I think this is why farmers used to have a reputation of losing their limbs.
modified
I mean,
rice
just one
plant
wrong
has been
move
used
and you're
for
freaking dead.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
machine works well in
one of
average
safe
Jesus.
machines.
You know,
Recently, the improved hemp harvester, used for
guys are
many
not
years in
screwing
Wisconsin, has been introduced in Kentucky. This machine spreads the
Seems
hemp in a
way,
continuous
way
swath.
too over-engineered.
It is a far cry from this fast and efficient
Dr.
modern
Seuss
harvester to
machine
the
or something.
Armstrong model of yore. But here's one kind of harvester, at least, that doesn't stall
His
in the
name is
heaviest
Roy.
heat. In Kentucky, hand cutting is practiced in opening fields for the
That don't
machine.
take about 5 years.
In Kentucky, hemp is shucked as soon as safe after cutting, to be spread out for retting
Oh,
later in the
shucks.
Just light up this big old pile.
We're gonna smoke it.
Time for the Wicker Man.
In Wisconsin, hemp is harvested in September.
Just as terrifying.
Here, the hemp harvester with automatic spreader is standard equipment. Note how smoothly the rotating apron lays the swath preparatory to retting.
Here the
it is a
ducks are
common
breaking
and
in.
practice to leave headlands around hemp fields. These strips may be planted to other crops, preferably small grain. Thus, the harvester has room to make its first round without preparatory hand cutting. When the cutter bar is much shorter than the hemp is tall, overlapping occurs. Not so good
Yeah,
for
that's
retting.
really interesting.
Standard cut is 8
Yeah.
to 9 feet. The length of time hemp is left on the ground to ret depends on
You know,
the
you
weather.
always think with some of these things you're gonna find out
Swaths must be
interesting
turned to
stuff,
a
and then it
uniform
just
ret.
turns boring as all hell.
This is like, someone telling you about their job, giving you every single
woody core
solitary
breaks away
detail, and
readily,
it's like,
like
you don't
this.
really.
The hemp
Frozen.
is about
Really
ready to
need
take
that.
up and bind into bundles.
That's fine.
Oh,
Well-retted hemp is light to dark gray. The fiber tends
Just
to
like
pull
Rhett
away from the
Butler.
stalk.
I mean,
The
how can
presence
you
of stalks in
tell?
the bowstring
Everything
stage
is
indicates that
light
retting
to
is well
dark
underway.
gray.
When hemp is short or tangled, or when the ground is too wet for machines, it is bound by hand. A wooden buck is used. Twine will do for tying, but the hemp itself makes a good band.
So what are you gonna do with all
When
this
conditions
hemp?
are favorable,
Just
the pickup
gathering
binder
it,
is commonly
sorting
used.
it,
The
putting it in
swaths should lie
piles.
smooth and even, with stalks parallel. The picker won't work well in tangled hemp. After binding, hemp is shucked as soon as possible to stop further
Look at
retting.
all the people they're employing. If we could
In
just start growing
1942,
hemp.
14,000
Is this,
acres of
is
fiber
this
hemp
like
were harvested
an
in the
instructional
United
video on how to do this or
States. The goal for
something?
1943 is
Seems to be how that
300,000
works.
acres.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I think so. I think they're trying to
Trust
like
hemp,
get farmers
cannabis
to grow
sativa,
hemp.
The old standby
So they're
cordage
showing them
fiber
how easy it
staging
is.
a strong comeback. This is Kentucky hemp going into the dryer of a mill at Versailles.
You think you mean Versailles.
In the old days, breaking was done by hand. One of the hardest jobs known to man.
Stop!
Trevor works
Now
out
the
his
power
aggressions
breaker
for the
makes
day.
quick work of it.
Maybe he should smoke some marijuana and he wouldn't be so aggravated.
Just a little bit.
Just a little. That kid knows.
Spinning American hemp into rope yarn or twine in the old Kentucky River Mill at Frankfort, Kentucky.
Okay, they have to be stoned to make that entertaining.
Another pioneer plant that has been making cordage for more than a century.
Looks delicious. That, not so much.
All such plants
No.
will presently be turning out products
It's a
spun
trip.
from American-grown hemp. Twine of various kinds
Another
of
horribly
tying,
dangerous
winding
machine.
armatures, and
They
upholsterer's
loved
work.
those things back then, didn't they?
Rope for marine rigging
I mean,
and
if
towing,
it doesn't whirl
for
at top
hayforks,
speed,
derricks, and
it's not
heavy-duty
worth
tackle.
doing.
Light-duty fire hose. Thread for shoes for millions of American soldiers. And parachute webbing for our paratroopers.
Wisconsin!
As for the United States Navy, every battleship requires
Is
34,000
anything like a
feet of rope,
cakewalk?
and other craft accordingly. So here in the Boston Navy Yard, where cables for frigates were made long
Boston.
ago, crews are now working night and day making cordage for the fleet. In the old days, rope yarn was spun by hand.
But not anymore. Now we got these old guys.
Today, even the rope walk is
Doesn't
mechanized.
seem really that much more efficient.
160 fathoms to go.
Take us to 20,000 leagues. Oh my god!
The rope yarn feeds through holes in an iron
It's
plate.
like being sucked into the machine. It's gonna kill me!
Oh,
I'm
This is
gonna.
vanilla hemp.
I can't
Made is rapidly
escape.
dwindling reserve.
Like a vortex of
When that is
death.
gone, American hemp will go on duty again. Hemp for mooring ships. Hemp for tow lines.
Oh, hemped up for hemp. Okay, we get it. It's rope.
Hemp for tackle and gear. Hemp for countless naval uses, both on ship and
Mostly
shore. Just as in the days when old Ironside sailed the seas victorious, with her hempen shrouds and hempen sails.
And slavery, slavery, slavery.
Hemp for victory.
That's what I mean by towing the line.
To-
Well then.
Poking the line? What?
Toking.